Hello everyone, my name is Michael, and in this video I'll be telling you why you should actually own this phone. Now, before I dive into the reasons and the type of phone, I have actually used different types of phones. I have used Samsung, I have used iPhones, latest, old types, and name it. But I have just come to create a very strong connection with this phone. And in this video, I'm gonna tell you the reasons why. And this type of phone is actually the ROG 5S here. All right, so now before we actually dive into the phone itself, I'm gonna go through the specs of the phone. All right, so now when we look at the screen dimension here, the screen dimension of this phone is actually 6.7 inch, and it's also got it's actually a 1080 by 2448 pixels. It also has a front facing camera here, which is about 24 megapixels, and it also has about 3 rear cameras. So it has 1, 2, 3. So the first one is actually a 64 megapixels, and the second one is 13 megapixel, and the last one is actually 5 megapixels. And it also runs on a Snapdragon 88 Plus, and currently I have a RAM of about 8 GB, which is actually a very bad decision and restriction for me. And it also has a storage capacity of about 128 GB. That's the least that you can actually get. And it actually goes up to about 512 GB. And actually we have a 1 terabyte now. And with an amazing battery capacity of 6,000 milliamps per hour. All right, so now let's dive into the reasons why. Now, the first reason is gonna be the speakers. Now, the ROG actually has 2 speakers here, the first one and the second one. And when you look at the ROG phone, the ROG phone is actually designed to be held in this direction, direction here. And when you look at the functions of the speakers, the ROG actually has the most amazing speakers. And you can actually Google each and every phone, Samsung or whatever phone that you want to actually Google. No phone actually beats the speakers on an ROG. They're actually smooth, loud. They actually have the best beat, and actually they can be you can actually change the functions of the speakers within the phone system itself. And this, for those people that actually have an home theater, it's like they have this kind of surrounding system in them, whereby when you are holding the phone in this direction, you can actually feel the connection of this speaker with this speaker within your ears. And especially when you're watching a movie, a Netflix movie, it's actually just really, really, really amazing. The second reason is actually something that's very useful, not just for you, but also for me here. And when you look at the ROG, it has one mic here, and it also has another mic here, and it also has another mic here. So imagine the ROG 5S has 3 mics. And when you look at other phones, especially when I'm using the iPhone, you find that the iPhone actually has a mic at the bottom of the phone near the charging system. So you find that most of the time, or maybe sometimes, if I'm lying on the bed and I can't just hold it into my hand, when I put it on the surface like this, it covers the mic. And you find that it's really hard for me, for the person that I'm actually talking to get the sounds. But this one, even if I cover this mic and cover this one, the chances of you actually able to cover 3 mics are actually very, very low. So you find that even if you cover this mic and this mic, a sound system is able to come out from the third mic here. And this is just really, really amazing. When we come to the third part is actually about air triggers. Now, the phone has actually two basic air triggers here, which actually gives you the convenience of you actually playing games here. And I don't know if you can actually see them. So we can see this is the first air trigger here, and this is the other second air trigger here. And all these actually air triggers can actually be optimized and set to the function at which you want these air triggers to actually work. And you can also actually optimize these air triggers to trigger out certain functions within your phone, such as, you know, when you click one of the air triggers, you can actually take a photo, or maybe you can answer the call, this kind of functions. And this thing can actually be set within the phone. Now, this about the air triggers, actually, it does not end here. It also increases the function of you actually you able to turn this phone into what I call an Nintendo Switch, because the function is actually very similar. So what you do is that when you look at this phone here, it has about 3 USB Type-C here. So we have the first one, and we also have an earphone jack here, and we also have another USB Type-C here, this one here. And we also have another support system here. And when you look at this one here, this is where you actually put in your cooler fan here. So this phone also comes with a cooler fan, which is actually able to cool your phone for it to actually run at very, very maximum efficiency. Now, when you look at, there are certain people that actually run, you know, TikTok videos or maybe live streams for longer, or maybe even gaming for longer periods of time. But you find that these certain phones tend to get hot. So you find that this phone actually comes with a cooler fan that is able to actually cool the phone and actually keep the temperatures at steady, and hence increase and maintain the function of the phone itself. So it also has this kind of casing here. And when you look at this casing here, it has something that it supports the USB Type-C. So we can actually put in this into the USB Type-C here. As we can see, we can plug it inside the USB Type-C like this. Let's see. All right, and here it goes. And when we plug it in inside like this, the USB Type-C, this is how it looks here. And we can see through the case that we have this kind of strip connections here. And we also have this kind of stripe connections here. And these stripe connections actually support a certain gamepad, which actually is connected to the phone here. And this gamepad is actually this one here. Now, this gamepad is actually designed for the phone, but it also actually can be used on the computer. And I have actually tried to do that with actually Steam, but actually it does not work so well. It works, yes, but it's not actually, it doesn't work to the full functions compared with you know, the Xbox joysticks and also the PlayStation DualSense. So but when it comes to the phone, it actually works very, very good. And you know, you can actually play it in this, just in this direction while connected via Bluetooth to the phone. But you can also connect it if you want very effective connection. You can actually just connect it just like the way a Nintendo Switch is actually connected in. And after the connection, this is how the phone actually looks like. And this is how it turns out to look like here. So when it comes to the whole functions, you can actually map each and every button on the game based on the functions of the game. You can map them to different functions basically on how you want the game to be run. And this is actually very, very efficient, and it just creates that convenience for you to move from you actually daily usage of the phone and to that connection between you being a daily user and also it becoming a daily console for you. So the phone actually also comes with other components, such as it also comes with these wireless headsets here, which are actually based on gaming. These are gaming headsets here. Comes with this type of wired headset here, which actually can be connected to the phone here. And they have this kind of RGB lighting, which basically is fascinating for me. I'm not sure for other people, and I opt to buy this kind of headsets because it just comes with the RGB lighting. But you can also buy one which has an earphone jack here, and the earphone jack one actually does not support RGB lighting system. And the headsets actually can work on either this port here or even this one here, and both sides they can actually work very, very well. And all these components actually can also be optimized by the phone. You can actually change the functions, and within the phone itself you can change how the RGB lighting works and how it responds based on the systems, the music and everything. But if you're one person that actually uses the headsets as your daily usage, I wouldn't actually recommend you to buy one with a flat pin, because actually when you put them into your phone into your pocket, this thing just tends to actually disconnect and connect, disconnect and connect, and in that process is actually very, very actually irritating. So if you want to have something that you can actually use into your pockets, I would actually advise you to buy one with actually an earphone jack here. It's actually very, very better for you. When it comes to the headsets themselves, the headsets actually have a mic here, which actually is not a convenient way, because you actually have to hold it up all the time. Yeah, but it really works. Like, it really works very, very clearly. And it also has another, what they call an active noise cancellation. So this button here is an active noise cancellation. And to my observation or usage for the past 1 year, it works really good in that, it's got two types of noise cancellation. The first one is that, you can actually cancel all the noise. Like, you can't hear anything that other people are, while you are actually listening to the music, you can't hear what other people are actually saying behind. But you can also cancel the noise cancellation in a sense that, the music that you're playing within the phone becomes a background music, and while those people that are actually speaking to you in the surrounding, you can actually hear them very, very clearly. The fourth one actually is gonna be about the screen. So when it comes to the screen actually is made by Samsung. And one of the things that I actually appreciate compared to the previous versions, or actually maybe other phones, is actually the blue light filter. So there are some of us that are actually find it very hard, especially when it comes to our eyes, to pay attention to the blue light. So this screen actually filters off the blue light, and hence you are able to use the phone for a longer period of time without having to strain your eyes. The other thing is that the screen itself is actually a 144 Hz screen, but it's actually been optimized to change refresh rates based on different types of application. So you find that when it comes to the gaming, it's able to shoot itself up to 144 based on the demand or support of the application that you're actually running. This is one of the reasons why I actually opt to buy this phone, because no matter what kind of application you're running, the state and speed of the rate at which the phone runs is actually steady, and it does not matter whether you're running a game, you actually get maximum performance from the phone. The other thing is that, sometimes we have different types of Android phones. Sometimes you find that when the phone or maybe has got a complete, you've got too much applications running on the phone. Sometimes the phone just becomes, it stops running efficiently. Sometimes it even starts to get stuck. But this phone has been designed to run in different modes. It has been designed to run in different modes. So you find that we have different modes here. We have the X mode, we have the dynamic mode, we also have the ultra durable, we also have the advanced. And all this, such as the dynamic mode, it's optimized performance for daily use, meaning that the phone will not be pushed to the limit. And hence all this optimization enables you to increase the durability, it increases the durability of the battery, and also enhances the time frame at which you can use the phone per charge. So you find that in my experience of usage, I'm able to use this phone with a full charge of about 12 hours on a heavy use and 24 hours, and I can run for 24 hours on a very light use. And when I say a light use, I mean calling, I mean watching movies, but there's some times whereby I have to stream, I have to game and all those things, then I'm going to run about 12 hours. But if I'm just like, maybe watching movies, light work, calling, WhatsApp, maybe WeChats and all those kinds of things, then I'm able to run for about 24 hours. And I will get a complete charge in about 30 minutes. Now, this is amazing because this phone actually comes with a whopping 65 watts charger, this one here. And this charger basically is able to charge most of your computers. So I'm going to plug it in because I have, at first I couldn't trust the portability or maybe the performance of the charger. So I bought something that can actually monitor the phone itself here. And when I plug it in here and I plug it into the phone here, we can see from the phone here. And let me see. All right. So we have a charge here. And let me see how the charge is going to come up. So we are able to get this kind of charge here. And we can see it says hyper charge, 65 watts here. So I'm able to get a full charge no matter how low the phone is. If it's actually completely low, within 30 minutes, I'm able to get a complete charge. And this, guys, is really, really amazing for me. And in this case, we can see from here, we are about, if you calculate 17 volts times about 18 volts times 2, I think you guys can do the math there. And you are really getting a very high watts into the phone system. And the phone itself is designed to optimize. So here I'm actually just able to get about 36 watts. Why? The reason being is that because my phone already has a 40% charge here. So the phone itself is able to optimize itself and determine the amount of current or maybe voltage that can go into the phone so that it increases the durability of the battery itself. And if you have a lower charge, this thing is able to even push itself to about 50 to 60 watts of charging, and hence you are able to get a complete charge in a short period of time. So this is one of the facts, and it's really, really amazing. And the 6,000 milliamps per hour battery is just an amazing thing. And I know a lot of phones out there, they have this kind of charge, but considering all these kind of functions, for me, it's just a plus and a go to buy this phone here. The last thing that I would actually talk about, the most amazing thing, is actually the RGB lighting. So the phone itself has the RGB lighting system here. And basically this phone is the entry point of this version. And the RGB lighting actually can be turned on from the system itself. So you can see from the system here, and where it says system lighting here. And you just click on it, and you're able to turn on the RGB lighting system. And this RGB lighting system can actually be optimized based on different functions. So the functions can be optimized when you receive a call. It's able to have different indications. When you're gaming, you can have different colors and different types of systems, you know. But for me, I don't just find it so useful, and I tend not to use it so much because it's at the back of the phone. So if there was a way that this RGB lighting was turned here as a replacement to replace this notification lighting here, it could actually be a very practical way. But there are other phones, such as, you know, if you go a bit higher, buying the Pros, they have an RGB lighting system here, which you can actually optimize and change systems, like maybe put up your name, or maybe put up when it's charging, there's an indication of charging, and all those kinds of things. But this is the best for this type of phone. For this entry point of this phone is actually the best it can do. Otherwise, if you want that type of one, you have to actually pay a lot more money with similar functions, and just get an extra system here. So I didn't find it very necessary for me. So now, when you look at all these good parts, basically, each and everything has a good part and also has the bad parts. The first bad part that I would talk about is that, you know, we've talked about all these nice functions, gamings, and all those things. And this should give you a significance to say that this phone actually was designed to be a gaming phone. Hence, such functions such as, you know, the camera should be a bit affected. But ROG actually has been improving its performance of the cameras compared to the previous version. You can hear all these high spec 64 megapixels, what. But you know, when it comes to the functions of the camera, it cannot beat the Pixel, the Google Pixel, or maybe the iPhone, the functions of the camera. It cannot be, you know, be to that level. But it's actually good. For me, I would actually compare it to the previous versions of the Samsung, and to like maybe the S20s, somewhere there. That's how the performance is. But when it comes to the camera, but when you compare it to the latest phones, such as, you know, the latest Google Pixels and the latest maybe Samsung phones, I don't think it can be all that competitive. I would actually compare it to that versions that was produced within the year. It's actually outstanding somewhere there. And when it comes to the front camera, I just found out that the wide at which the camera actually covers is actually limited. So actually, when you buy it, you should actually consider this kind of functions. But when it comes to the rear camera, it actually does a good. It actually does it, and for me, I would actually give it an 8 out of 10 when it comes to the rear camera, and when it comes to the front-facing camera, I would actually give it a 6 out of 10. That's depends on my rating. The second disadvantage is that, you know, when you buy this kind of phone, is that it gives you an open space, a certain, I can call it a non-limitation, like even no matter how much applications you download, you can download as many applications as you like. But one thing that you should actually be considerate is that, you know, when buying this phone, it is actually very, very important to consider the RAM of the phone, because you can have, let me say, 128 GB, and you have a lot of applications running on your phone. The phone itself, with the CPU and the whatever, will not be the limitation. The limitation will be that the RAM will actually reduce the performance of the phone. So if you actually plan to buy, or maybe you just want to make full use of this phone, the best thing that you can actually do is that you buy at least 12 GB, and you can also have 16, and we also have 18 GB RAM running on the market. So you can actually consider high RAM of GB, and this will give you maximum performance. But when it comes to other functions, you will not be affected. In my consideration, in my experience of usage for the past 1 year plus, I came that the phone was filled up, and you know, it can run and run and run, but when it comes to the RAM was filled up, the phone just clamps down, like it couldn't function anymore because the memory was full, and those applications were running in the background. So you find that it's affected, and hence the phone would basically just get stuck and shut down. So, and I discovered, I was trying to figure out if it's another problem, but I discovered that it's the problem of the RAM. So I had to get rid of some applications and all those things, and I cleared some, and basically it came running through very, very well. Otherwise, for me, I would actually recommend this phone to someone that's actually wants to buy themselves an Android phone. And if you just, if you one person that's there for the Androids and wants something that can balance between you, a daily user, or maybe also gaming, then I would actually recommend you buying this phone. This phone is actually for you. But if you are not into gaming, and you're just you know, there for photos and all those kind of things, then I prefer that you consider other phones that are actually good when it comes to cameras, such as, you know, the iPhones and Google Pixels, and also the Samsung. They've got a very well, because they focus on how to make the camera very, very good. So guys, so this is what I can say, and I hope we can continue building tech together. Bye bye.